It's Arnie Singer, the publisher of Israel AM. I just wanted to comment for a couple of minutes on the situation with Hamas. As we know, there are about 15,000 Hamas terrorists still remaining in Gaza, many of them in Rafah, but there are still active terrorists throughout Gaza. And these 15,000 terrorists are armed, ready, and willing to repeat October 7th as many times as they can. And it's just really mind boggling for me to try to get my head around the fact that the United States, President Biden, wants Israel to stop to stop fighting these terrorists and to leave these 15,000 terrorists intact, armed and ready to repeat the barbaric attack that they perpetrated. Um, and there's no way that Israel can do that. There's no way that Israel can let these terrorists remain armed and intact. The United States would never do that. The United States pursued Al Qaeda until they assassinated Osama bin Laden and some of his wives and whoever else was in that house. It didn't matter. They killed them. Um, this is Israel's 9/11, and this is Israel's Holocaust. And there's no way that Israel can stop until it destroys the threat that has become an existential threat to Israel. So, as supporters of Israel, we need to stand strong. We need to stand behind Israel, and we have to make it very clear that Israel needs to defend itself. That's its first priority, regardless of all the pressure brought upon it by its friends in America. And America is a friend of Israel. I mean, America is supplying Israel with the weaponry that it requires, and it supports Israel in the UN, vetoing all these anti-Israel resolutions in the Security Council, and it supports Israel, particularly Congress and most of the American people. But Biden is being pressured by certain parts of his party, of his voter base, and he's scared. So he's putting pressure on Israel. I mean, just the statistics of 29,000 people being killed in Gaza. So even if those statistics are true, because of course they're provided by the health ministry in Gaza, which is run by Hamas. But even if they are true, around 12,000 of those killed are terrorists that Israel has killed. And probably a few thousand more have been killed by errant rockets fired by Hamas and other terrorists in Gaza, and probably in crossfire caused by these Hamas terrorists. And look, I don't know how many, most of them, most of the civilians are supporters of Hamas, active and passive. Many of them came over the fence on October 7th to loot and to rape and to murder. But be it as it may, Israel needs to finish the job. Okay? We survived the Holocaust, and we're not going to let our people be wiped out by a bunch of barbaric terrorists. Okay? We need to wipe out the remaining 15,000, or at least make them unable to fight anymore, degrade them to such an extent that they will never be able to attack us again. And we can't stop until we do that. So let's all stay strong, and continue supporting Israel, um, and make sure that there's no ceasefire until Israel decides that they finished the job.